You've got a server in your office that runs your business IT systems and it's getting a little bit old. Your IT company has told you that you need to spend thousands of pounds replacing it. But what really are your options? Well, that is what today's video is all about. But before we start, my name is Jonathan Edwards and I run an IT support company here in the UK. We help businesses of all sizes with their IT support and the cybersecurity. I've spoken to several prospects recently who all have servers in their offices that run their IT systems. Now, these servers are quite old. They're over 5 years old, and you should never really run a server after it's over 5 years old. So their IT support companies have sent them a quote to replace these servers, and all these quotes run into thousands of pounds. So these small business owners have contacted my IT company and said, have we got any more options other than spending this amount of money on a server to put in our office? So that's why I've decided to make this video. First of all, it might be best to look at what a server is and what it does for your business. Now, back when I started my IT company many years ago, we used to install servers for nearly every customer. These servers used to run all the IT, so it'd run their email, it'd hold the files and folders, and it'd run any business applications. But bit by bit over the years, technology has started to change, and all these IT services that used to be run on a server gradually moved to the cloud. If we look at email, we used to have email on these servers, and now nearly every business I know uses Microsoft 365. It makes sense to do so from a cost perspective and a security point of view. And then technology started to change again, and it became easier for people to store their files and folders in a cloud-based solution like Dropbox than it did on an on-site server. At the moment, most businesses that we look after store their files and folders in SharePoint and OneDrive. And today we're in a bit of an evolution when it comes to moving our applications to the cloud. Now, when I talk about applications, I don't mean office software like Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. I mean the applications that we use to run our businesses. If we look, for example, at accounting software, lots of businesses use a platform like Xero for their accounting package. Now, Xero is 100% cloud-based, but I still know lots of companies who use Sage and use a server in their office to run the Sage platform. Now, businesses in each different sector run a variety of applications for their businesses. Some of these are cloud-based, some of them still require a server. My IT company, for example, supports a lot of accountants, and there's still a lot of applications that accountants use that still sit on servers in their offices. So to answer the question if your business needs a server, then it really depends what applications your business uses. If your business just uses email and files and folders, then you don't need a server at all. You can move all these to a product like Microsoft 365. But if your business uses an application that sits on a server, the first thing you've got to do is speak to the software provider of that application. It might be that they've now got a cloud version available, so you can take it off the server and move it into the cloud. Job done. Or it might be that they don't have a cloud version available, or the cloud version is too expensive. In which case, let's have a look at 3 scenarios. So firstly, in some scenarios, a new server in your office is the right answer. A few months ago, we worked with an accountant and they needed a new server to run their Sage products. Now, their internet speeds weren't very good, and to upgrade the internet in their office would have been quite expensive. So the way this accountancy worked, it just suited them to buy a small server for their office. It was most cost effective and the right thing to do. And sometimes that is the answer. Cloud solutions don't suit every business. Now, the second scenario came from another accountancy practice that we looked after. They had servers in their offices that were getting fairly old, and they didn't want a server in their office anymore. But they also didn't want the increased monthly cost that cloud services brings. Now, back in the old days, companies would spend thousands of pounds on a server and their monthly costs would be lower. Today, most things are on monthly costs. So So you don't have these big costs on servers, but your monthly costs are higher. Now that cost model doesn't suit everyone. So what do you do in this situation? Well, your business still could buy a server, but it's best not to put it in your office. You don't want to be worrying about physical security, air conditioning, extra power. So instead, you could house your business server in a local data center. Now, data centers are all around the UK. My IT company uses one in Leeds. These are purpose-built buildings that are specially designed to house technology equipment. They've got great physical security, they've got extra power, they've got lots of internet, and it's the best place to put a server. Even if you've got a server in your office today that's fairly new, it might be 1 year old or 2 years old, you should seriously think about moving that into a data center. It's the best place for them. Your third option is probably the most popular option today. So even if your business needs a server to run an application, then you don't really need a server at all, if that makes sense. Let me explain. Instead of your business buying an expensive server and all the gadgets that you need with that, you can rent a software server from a product like Microsoft Azure. Now this is commonly known as infrastructure as a service. And instead of you buying expensive servers, you just rent the computing power you need on a monthly basis. And all these services are stored securely in the cloud. This can be a nice cost-effective option if your business needs a server. So there's your three options. It's not always cut and dry. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you again soon.